Summer Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, great news for most of us. I'm hoping it's great news for everybody that says they like boxing, right? Because in boxing, normally we love big fights and stuff like that. But because there's other things that get in the way of us wanting big fights, right? People become fans of people because they're the same nation, same color, right? Or you just like somebody so much that you're not objective anymore. So you don't really want that fighter to get into fights where it's just 50-50. Or maybe that your favorite guy is an underdog, right? So, and which is a silly thing to really do, but people like people, so whatever. So, in boxing, we got a lot of time with some of the fighters that are, popular without fighting hard fights. They get away with it because whatever we say here, people go as far as you let them. So I don't know if this is really good news for everybody. But we have one of our best fighters out there right now. We all know it. Well, two of our best fighters out there right now. We all know it. You would have Vergil Ortiz, right? Vergil Ortiz, I think he's still undefeated, right? Had a 100% knockout ratio before not too long. His last two fights, he was in, with Madrimov. He didn't get him out of there. But he beat Madrimov convincingly. We got to give him that. And, Boychek gave him all he wanted. I thought he lost to Boychek, but he got I think, didn't he even give him a win with that? Really, that's really sad. But anyway, he's moved up to 154, and he's looking good. And after his fight against Madrimov, they were saying he was pretty much the best 154-pounder. Now, you have at the 147-pound division, you have Boots Ennis. And he's definitely the guy, who's the baddest one there. Because he has two belts, and the other belt is I think it's Brian Nelson Jr. and Mario Barrios. And Barrios is probably the weakest link. He's about to fight Manny Pacquiao, who's been out for about 4 years, and he's about 46 years old. So that's telling you he's the weakest link, because Manny Pacquiao ain't come back trying to fight nobody hard right now. So that's about the bottom line there. So, bottom line is Boots Ennis wanted to become undisputed, but with all the shenanigans that's going to go down, it's going to take him who knows how long if the people don't force him to fight him. A couple of years, and he's at 147, and he ain't gonna be able to make that wait too much longer to get Barrios in the ring. It's gonna take years, right? And people ain't gonna make him do it, and people ain't gonna make Ryan Nelson do it. So he's finally gonna move up to 154 pounds, right? Where everybody told him he's supposed to move up, and they told him he avoided Vergil Ortiz just a couple of months ago. Now he's just going to move up to 154 pounds, and he's already said, I want Vergil Ortiz. In August, it's June, beginning of June, in August. Vergil Ortiz's answer so far, according to reports, is he's not ready for August. So, and this is what gets me about fighters who are still at the lower weights, who are in weight divisions, to be in the middle of fights, not ready for nothing, not even 2 months. Then what do you do between fights? You know what I'm saying? You ain't ready for a fight in 2 months. But here's the deal. Jerron Boots Ennis' team, they said, well, then we'll wait for you till you finish. Right? So now, let's see what happens. Because now we're cornered. They're gonna wait for Vergil Ortiz to be ready. Because what people failed to realize when their haste to say that he was avoiding Vergil Ortiz because he didn't want to go up to 154 to fight him, even though after telling everybody I'm staying in 147 to become undisputed, in the haste to put shade on this brother, they said he's avoiding him. Forgetting, they wanted to forget that Vergil Ortiz already avoided him. And, this fight could have happened at 147 years ago, right? And don't act like it's not possible, because Vergil Ortiz also was the mandatory for Terrence Crawford and just basically said I ain't doing that. And Vergil Ortiz is Mexican. They have a tendency, unfortunately, we don't like to generalize here, but unfortunately, to be mandatories. The only ones that do this, I don't know the other people that do, they're mandatories for fighters and just says, I ain't fighting that guy. Vergil Ortiz did it to Terrence Crawford. Jaime Munguia did it to Demetrius Andrade at 160. Jaime Munguia did it also to Jamal Charlo at 160. Canelo Alvarez did it to Demetrius Andrade at 154. Ryan Garcia did it to Devin Haney at 135. And I'm not talking about eliminator fights like Isaac Cruz just had an eliminator with Shakur Stevenson and then the winner can go fight for the title. I just ain't doing that. Just not. You know, I ain't have to or whatever. And I ain't talking about the fights for a whole lot of money, the most money you can get, and for undisputed. Like Canelo Alvarez, just I ain't fighting Demetrius Andrade. Didn't call him names. He's a horrible fighter. And then fight people that's way lesser than him. Because they can get away with it. Teofimo Lopez, just I ain't fighting Devin Haney. He needs to look better in his fights. Because, you know, Devin Haney's not better than Steve Claggart or Sandor Martin or Kambosos. He's not better than them. So he has to prove something to me, even though I'm lesser than him. He makes way more money than me and is way more decorated than me, but he has to prove something to me. This is the kind of stuff that goes around in broad daylight, bro. Y'all better get you some glasses because this stuff can blind you. Bottom line is, now that Jerron Boots Ennis is at 154 pounds and calling out Vergil Ortiz, do you guys still want to see the fight like you did just a few months ago when you knew you couldn't get it? Ask yourself that question. We do. Doma Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm about to hear y'all.